I never thought love could cost me everything. Not just my heart, but my savings, my trust, even the way I looked at myself in the mirror. They always say, be careful who you give your time and money to, but when you're blinded by charm and promises, those warnings feel like background noise. I didn't realize I was walking straight into a trap, one that would leave me broken, betrayed, and staring at an empty bank account. Her name was Alina. From the very first moment, she had this way of making me feel like the center of the universe. Every text message, every late-night phone call, every time she laughed at my stupid jokes, it felt real. Too real. I remember telling my best friend, "Man, I think this girl is different." But I didn't know that while I was falling deeper, she was planning her exit. It started with little things. She'd say she was short on rent, or that her car needed repairs. I told myself, what's a couple $100 if it makes her life easier? Love is about helping each other, right? But then the requests got bigger. Money for her sister's supposed medical bills, money for a business opportunity she swore would change our lives. Each time, she promised she'd pay me back. And each time, I believed her. I wasn't stupid. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. I checked her stories, I saw the photos she posted, I heard the panic in her voice. But looking back now, all the signs were there. The excuses that never added up. The time she avoided meeting my family. The way she'd disappear for days, only to come back with an explanation so polished it sounded rehearsed. Then one morning, I woke up, and she was just gone. No calls, no texts. Her apartment was empty. Her number was disconnected. The money I had trusted her with, tens of thousands of dollars, vanished with her. And so did the girl I thought I knew. I can't even explain the mix of anger and shame I felt. How do you tell your friends and family that the person you loved just played you like a fool? I kept asking myself, how could I have been so blind? For weeks, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was drowning in debt and humiliation, convinced I'd never crawl out of the hole she left me in. But here's where the story takes a turn I never saw coming. Just when I thought I'd hit rock bottom, when I believed no one could possibly pull me out of the mess I was in, I got a message. And it wasn't from Alina. It was from her sister. When I first met Alina, she wasn't just another girl. She felt like an answer to every lonely night I had ever spent staring at my phone, waiting for someone to care. I'd gone through my fair share of heartbreaks, but something about her energy, light, magnetic, almost intoxicating, pulled me in faster than I could think. She worked at a little boutique downtown. That's where we first crossed paths. I was just there to grab a gift for my mom, nothing special. But the moment I asked for help, she flashed that smile, the kind that makes you feel like she's known you forever. I still remember how she tilted her head, how her voice carried this softness when she asked me what my mom liked. It sounds silly now, but in that instant, I was hooked. We started talking after that. First, casual small talk. Then, coffee dates. Then dinners. Within weeks, it felt like we were inseparable. She would text me good morning, call me on her lunch breaks, send me little videos before bed. And the way she looked at me, like I was her safe place, it was everything I had ever wanted. My family met her once. She was polite, sweet, but distant. My mom said later, she's charming, but something about her feels guarded. I brushed it off, convinced she just didn't know her like I did. My friends, too, made small comments, how fast things were moving, how she always seemed to have some kind of crisis. But when you're in love, red flags look a lot like roses. That's how the money started. First, it was small, easy to justify. She'd say, I'll pay you back Friday. And sometimes she actually did. That was the trick. She gave me just enough proof to believe she was trustworthy. And then, the requests grew. Her sister was sick, she said, and hospital bills were piling up. The way her voice cracked when she told me, the tears in her eyes. I couldn't say no. What kind of man would I be if I didn't help? Looking back, I realized she always knew the right strings to pull. She'd talk about our future together, moving in, getting married one day, starting a life. She painted this picture so vivid, I could almost see it. And every time I handed her money, I told myself I was investing in us. But here's the truth I didn't want to admit back then. I knew less about her than I thought. She never introduced me to her family. She never let me visit her place unless she prepared first. And whenever I asked deeper questions, she'd either laugh it off or suddenly get emotional, making me feel guilty for even asking. Still, I believed. I believed right up until the day she left, when the promises, the smiles, and the future we were supposed to build together all disappeared. And then came that message. A simple notification lighting up my phone. A name I recognized, but not one I expected. Alina's sister. She wrote, "We need to talk. It's about what she did to you." I stared at the message on my phone, reading it over and over again like maybe I had misunderstood. Alina's sister? I didn't even know she had a sister. At least, not one who would ever contact me directly. My chest tightened. Part of me thought it was a cruel joke, another trick. But something in those 6 words, "We need to talk. It's about what she did to you," froze me in place. I didn't reply right away. My head was spinning with questions. What did she mean? Did she know where Alina was? Was this some setup, another way to squeeze money out of me? Still, curiosity won. A few hours later, I typed back a cautious, "Who are you, and what do you want?" Her response was almost immediate. "I'm Lila. I'm her younger sister. And I know what she took from you." That sentence hit me like a punch. For weeks, I'd been drowning in silence, with no closure, no answers. And now, suddenly, someone who shared Alina's bloodline was reaching out, offering explanations I wasn't sure I was ready to hear. My emotions were all over the place. Anger, hope, fear. We agreed to meet in a crowded cafe the next day. I barely slept that night, imagining every scenario possible. Would she defend her sister? Would she ask me for money too? Or worse, would she tell me I'd never see Alina or my money again? When I walked in, I spotted her immediately. She looked like Alina, but softer. Same eyes, same sharp cheekbones, but her expression wasn't rehearsed or polished. It was tired, almost sad. She waved me over, and as I sat down, my heart pounded so hard I thought people could hear it. The first words out of her mouth stunned me. She didn't waste time. She leaned forward and said, "I'm sorry for what my sister did to you. You're not the first, and you won't be the last if someone doesn't stop her." Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes held steady on mine. And in that moment, every ounce of denial I'd been clinging to cracked apart. I opened my mouth to ask the only question that mattered. Where is she now? But before she could answer, Lila's phone buzzed on the table. She glanced down, and all the color drained from her face. "It's her," she whispered. Lila's hands shook as she flipped her phone over, hiding the screen like it might burn her if she stared too long. My stomach twisted. "It's her," I whispered, leaning forward. She nodded slowly. "Alina, she knows I'm with you." The air between us thickened, heavy with fear and something unspoken. I wanted answers, but I could see the hesitation in Lila's eyes. She wasn't just worried. She was scared. "Why are you helping me?" I asked. My voice came out sharper than I intended. "If she's your sister, why reach out now?" Lila's jaw tightened. "Because I've watched her do this before. To men who didn't deserve it. To people who trusted her. And every time, she gets away with it. I couldn't just stand by anymore." She paused, lowering her voice. And this time, she went too far. Her words sent a chill down my spine. I wanted to push her, demand she explain, but the way she fidgeted with her coffee cup, the way her eyes darted around the cafe like someone might be listening, it stopped me. "Too far," I repeated, almost in a whisper. "She didn't just take your money," Lila said. But before she could finish, her phone buzzed again. She flinched this time, like each vibration was a warning shot. I clenched my fists under the table. Every nerve in my body was screaming for answers. Yet Lila seemed torn in two, between loyalty and guilt, between fear and truth. She finally leaned closer, speaking so quietly I could barely hear. "Alina isn't who you think she is. She never was. The person you loved, the future she promised you, it was all part of her plan. And if you're not careful, she'll destroy you like she destroyed the others." Her eyes glistened, and I realized she wasn't exaggerating. There was real pain there, like she had seen the wreckage Alina left behind up close. "Others?" I asked, my throat dry. Lila nodded. "You weren't the first, but you might be the last if she has her way." Before I could process, the cafe door swung open. My pulse spiked as my eyes darted to the entrance. For a split second, I swore I saw her, Alina, standing in the doorway, scanning the room. The same confident posture, the same flawless hair falling over her shoulders. But just as quickly, she turned and walked back out, disappearing into the street. My heart raced. Was it really her, or was my mind playing tricks on me? Lila gripped my wrist tightly. "She knows," she said through clenched teeth. "And if we don't move fast, she'll make sure neither of us can stop her." I swallowed hard, the weight of her words pressing down like stone. Something big was coming. Something darker than I ever imagined. And then Lila finally said the words that froze me in place. I have proof. But if I show you, there's no turning back. I leaned in, waiting for Lila to finally show me this so-called proof. She pulled a small flash drive from her purse and slid it across the table. Her hand trembled. Everything's on here. Bank transfers, photos, messages. You'll see what she's been doing. My chest pounded as I picked it up. But before I could even slip it into my pocket, Lila's phone lit up again. This time, she didn't ignore it. She turned the screen toward me. It wasn't just Alina texting her. It was Alina and another man, my name and photo plastered in the chat, with messages that made my stomach churn. He'll fold soon, just like the others. Don't let him get suspicious. We'll split it when I'm done. I froze. The words blurred as rage and confusion collided inside me. This wasn't just Alina running her own game. She was working with someone. I looked at Lila, my voice barely holding steady. Who's the other number? Her lips pressed into a thin line. That's the part you're not ready for, she whispered. Because the person helping her is closer to you than you think. My hands trembled as I stared at the chat logs. Betrayal was written in black and white. But the one detail I couldn't shake was Lila's warning that the other number belonged to someone close to me. Tell me, I demanded, my voice louder than I meant. Heads in the cafe turned, but I didn't care. Who is it? Lila swallowed hard. It's your best friend, Daniel. The words hit me like a hammer. Daniel, the guy who introduced me to Alina in the first place. The one I vented to about money problems. The one who always said, she seems great, man, just trust her. My stomach flipped. He wasn't just a bystander. He was part of it. I stormed out of the cafe, Lila hurrying behind me. My blood boiled with every step. I called Daniel, my voice shaking as I told him to meet me immediately. When he showed up, his smirk gave him away before I said a word. He didn't even deny it. She's smarter than you'll ever be, he sneered. We had you from the start. That was it, the moment the lies collapsed. I lunged at him, rage flooding out in ways I didn't know I had. Lila pulled me back, shouting, but it didn't matter. I saw Daniel's mask slip, fear replacing arrogance. And then, just when I thought the nightmare couldn't go deeper, my phone buzzed. A new message. From Alina. You trusted the wrong sister. I froze, looking at Lila in horror. Her face paled, her lips parting as if she wanted to explain, but she didn't. She just stared at me, silent, as the weight of that final twist crushed everything I thought I knew. The words on my phone screen wouldn't stop echoing in my head. You trusted the wrong sister. I turned to Lila, my chest pounding. Her eyes darted away, filled with something between guilt and fear. For a long, tense moment, neither of us spoke. Finally, she whispered, she's lying. That's what she does. Twists the truth until you don't know which way is up. But my heart was torn. Could I believe her? Or had I fallen into the same trap twice? We sat in silence until she finally pushed the flash drive back toward me. Take it. Go through it yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust her. Just see the truth with your own eyes. Her voice cracked on that last word, and for the first time, I saw how broken she was too. Maybe she was a victim of Alina in her own way, living in her shadow, watching her destroy lives, powerless to stop her. That night, I plugged in the flash drive. The evidence was undeniable. Transfers, messages, fake profiles, even recordings. Alina and Daniel had built an entire operation on manipulation. And while there were hints of Lila's involvement, her name showing up here and there, it was clear she wasn't the architect. She was the whistleblower, the one finally pulling the curtain back. It didn't erase what I'd lost, but it gave me clarity. For the first time in months, I felt like I wasn't drowning. The police got involved after that. With the evidence in hand, they launched an investigation. Daniel was easy to track, and his arrogance made him sloppy. Alina, though, she was more elusive. Last I heard, she had slipped out of state, vanishing just like she had with me. But this time, there were warrants with her name on them. This time, she couldn't just disappear into thin air. As for Lila, we kept in touch for a while. She helped me through the legal mess, showing up when I felt like the walls were caving in. And slowly, I started to believe she was different from her sister. She didn't ask for money. She didn't make promises she couldn't keep. She just listened. She reminded me I wasn't alone. In the end, I didn't get my money back. The debt took years to untangle, But I got something else, something I didn't know I needed. Perspective, strength, a clearer sense of the kind of people I'd let into my life. And maybe, just maybe, a reminder that sometimes the ones who save us come from the most unexpected places. Because yes, Alina took my money and disappeared. But her sister, the one I almost didn't trust, was the reason I didn't lose myself completely. And that's a kind of rescue you can't put a price on.